Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here for the Real Love Boat recap, the penultimate episode. And it was a bit of a red wedding as we lost two of our couples as we head into next week's finale. And here to talk about everything that went on as we are down to just three couples vying for the prize here on the Real Love Boat. Of course, makes up one half of the Sexy Six here on this podcast. Okay. Please welcome back our bartender, Jenny Autumn. Jenny, how are you?
Rob, I'm excellent. I feel like getting to podcast with you and Kirsten each week is like my olives. And this particular episode was like the thorns.
Yes.
I had to get through the thorns to get to the olives. That's how I personally felt about this episode.
Yeah. This was not the finest hour of the Real Love Boat. Not a ton going on here, even though we do have two eliminations to talk about. But I'm sure plenty for us to go through.
Yeah, still a prize at the end for me. Like, you know, you guys are my prize. That people are prizes is what we've learned. So.
Yes. Okay. Well, very nice of you to say. Of course, back with us, our activity director. It's the great Kirsten MacInnis. Kirsten, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's become very apparent to me that the activity director does not have to plan any activities. So I'm living large, taking a day off.
Yeah. I mean, there was almost like no signs. I guess that Matt did give people an announcement. We're going to Sicily. And I think that was all we saw.
Put on your bathing suits. It's going to get slippery. And then I can leave.
Okay,
I hope he's not being paid by the second or like the minute on the episode.
The word, right.
Oh, man.
It's been rough.
It's tough when you get those jobs that pay per word.
A lot of people were sad to see the second season of The White Lotus wrap up on Sunday night. And they said, hey, I need more action in Sicily. And so the Real Love Boat was here this week to take us back to Sicily, not to the White Lotus Resort, but to see people messing around with olive oil here and slipping around as they do. And so we'll talk about all that and much more. How's everybody doing?
Rob, I'm actually not drinking wine tonight. This is you might think
that's
this
olive
is
oil?
my normal wine. No, yeah, it's olive oil, baby.
Oh my god.
Jenny with props.
Chug a lug.
Yes.
The Kirkland one.
Yes.
Extra virgin, like Emily.
Listen, did you see how she pushed the oil out of her boobs during that challenge? Maybe just virgin, not extra virgin.
She knows what she's doing. Anyway, I'm great.
No.
Yes.
And okay.
Yes.
We are here to have fun. If they're not having fun on the show, at least we can have fun here on the podcast.
Don't you think that was fun?
It was
completely greasy.
Yeah. That was the setup for something.
It was the first time Marty ever moisturized. That's for damn sure.
Oh.
Like he's like, I've never experienced anything like this before. And I was like, okay.
I will say this about Marty. I think he lightened up a little bit, just out of necessity. I think that he, you know, the writing was on the wall and he's like, okay, well, this is it.
Well, it's because he had another option where he could talk to a woman and be like, oh, I'm really into you. Let's start building a future together. And so now he's just gonna be like, Susanna, maybe you will be the mother of my children. And then, you know, I feel like it's a cycle that is going to continue.
And I mean, she's got no other options, like none. Literally.
Yeah.
So
imagine that.
And they're locked in. That's it. No one else is coming in.
But it seemed like Marty was trying to have fun. So I think that this truly, it's like, look how happy Emily and Marty are when they're not tethered to each other. This is great. I honestly think it's a happily ever after for everyone involved.
I did like at every point when Marty's like, oh, well, I know Emily's going to try and get rid of me. Like, how dare she? I'm like, yeah, no one wants to be around their ex. Stop it.
Very fair. Points are made. It was interesting the way they decided to get down from 5 couples to 3 couples here, that we were going to have this competition, which we will break down. But they said, okay, first place and second place will then get together and decide one team that's safe. I mean, it was like a little bit like giving like the challenge vibes, but Jenny, was this a good way for them to eliminate two teams in this episode?
I mean, again, like us, we have been very confused about how this was going to end. So it makes it very difficult for the last step before the finale to have two couples in charge of basically who they're going to end up at the end with, when there's, until it's explained that there's challenges, like no one knows how this show ends, how you get there, how you win. So I don't know if, like, they basically borrowed the same idea that they had a couple weeks back with the Bazaar challenge, where, you know, the top team decided, and then they said, okay, well, maybe that's too much power for one team, so we'll make it the top two teams, and they have to agree on one other team to bring with them. Like, I guess they tried with some strategy here, but
Yeah.
it's like, how are these people supposed to make a decision when they don't know whether they're like, the team that wins is the one that has the most chemistry, or the team that wins is like the one that wins the comps. So this whole episode was watching two couples try to figure out what to base it on, when it's like, tell them how this ends.
And also the decision was like so predictable, so
Right.
obvious of what they were going to do, and it was so drawn out. Also, it's like, yeah, Emily definitely is not going to protect Marty. That despite what Marty might think, as Susanna knows, it's the truth of the matter is that Emily feels some type of way.
Emily's gonna vote you off. She hates you.
Yeah, she hates you.
I love that Susanna's the one telling him, like,
Yeah.
just so you know, she hates you.
And I love how she's like laughing while she says it. She's like, yeah, obviously. She hates
you. She hates your guts.
She's like,
yeah.
You made an ass of yourself,
Yeah.
and I am with you out of necessity at this point.
Yeah, I guess she could have picked Dustin, so this is kind of on her.
I suppose
but
she did.
She was really stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, and nobody even knows who Dylan and Sydney are, and the women.
Everyone knows Rob. They are such a threat and such a strong couple that everyone is scared of them.
And they're from the Midwest, and he's an accountant.
Sure,
so we know these things.
But Kendra has been friends with Shaylin and Emily the whole way through, and that they were gonna pick Kendra and Jordan. Like, there was no drama.
Also, the fact that they are like by far the worst at the challenges. Like, they blew a very, very significant lead in this challenge tonight. So, like, even if they don't fully know what they're basing the decision on, they're like, okay, well, we've had a lot of challenges thus far. If there's going to be a challenge, let's bring the team that we have personal relationships with and, like and don't want to piss off, and also are very easy to beat in challenges.
Yeah.
Like,
so
very clear.
Yeah. It was like over 20 minutes of like deliberation on this. And it was like kind of an open and shut case.
Well, but here's the thing. Maybe you want to go against the couples that don't have a strong connection, in which case you should be dragging Susanna and Marty to the end.
They did give us Emily weighing that possibility so that they had something to make us think that maybe Marty and Susanna had a chance, because even Marty and Susanna are like, we're done.
Yeah. And maybe if Emily could stand the living sight of Marty, then maybe that would have been an option for them. But, just that, she hated him so much. It was like, this might not be a great game decision, but I would just save Jordan and Kendra.
She's like, I just can't look at his face anymore.
You can tell how irritated she is. Like it has not been enough time for her to even though that she feels good, she's moved on with Mike, her knight in shining armor, apparently. You can see from her body language in the few points that her and Marty interact during this episode. He apologizes to her a couple times, I feel. She does not want to interact with this person. She is see you never. Like, I hope you have a wonderful life, but please leave me out of it. So like, she's completely done with him. And also Emily was like the one person in the four that were making this decision that was like, well, I would like to prioritize the people with the best connection. Like, Emily is sentimental. And then you've got like the other end of that spectrum in Daniel, who is like constantly weighing this from like a competition and strategic standpoint. So obviously, like, Emily was going to be rallying hard to keep like not only friends that she's had since the beginning, and also people that she's like, they really like care about each other. They have a good connection. Like, there was no situation where Marty and Susanna were ever going to make it out of this alive. But I appreciated that they tried to give us a sound clip to make us think, oh, maybe if Daniel gets through and is like, you know, if it's about connection, then these two clearly have the least connection, but they don't even know what they're basing it on.
Yeah, this is the problem with a lot of love shows, is they say, okay, at the end there will be a winner, but we are not going to tell you how you win, how many winners there will be, how the prize is divvied up. Like, at this point, all I want out of the finale is I want there to be a prisoner's dilemma about if you keep the money or don't. And I want Shaylin to take the money from Daniel. It's all that I want at this point.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Shaylin and Daniel, because they really opened up the episode, and it was a little bit of a to be continued from everything that happened last week when Daniel had what was the name of the woman that left? Bree, that she left last week and left Shaylin with a lot to think about, and she can't get past the comments that Bree made, and Daniel accused Shaylin of letting some girl get in her head, and said that maybe this is the sign of somebody who might be a little mentally weak.
Well, and the thing is I think that Shaylin at every point has been like, I trust what I have with Daniel, but at the point where Bree is leaving with nobody and still is just like, you guys should have a conversation, obviously that's going to make Shaylin think, okay, well, there's got to be something to this, or else why would there's no incentive for her to say it otherwise at this point. And Daniel just is like, deny, 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 deny. And God forbid Shaylin ask for reassurance, because he has no more reassurance for her. He literally says, I can't give you any more reassurance. You need to be more mentally strong. And if I could go through my computer screen, I would have been in jail.
I feel personally hurt by this because I feel like, you know, Tyra right now, where I was like, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. This is how I feel about Daniel, where I was like, oh my gosh, a non-toxic man. I love them together. This is so great. He's young, but he's mature. This is so wonderful. And I'm not saying he's a terrible human or anything, but he showed me tonight that I need to stop putting any faith in men.
He just isn't as mature as we thought he was.
Yes.
That's the problem.
The other thing that really bugged me about this was I felt like there was meaning behind when he chose to use the word woman and girl. And so he said, I thought you were like a strong woman and you're letting this girl get in your head. And I think that is not like a coincidence that he just happened to use that sort of language, because he refers to Bree a couple times as a girl, and he keeps talking about Shay in a way where it's like, I thought if you were a mentally strong woman. And I think that is like kind of a low-key way of being like, I thought you were more mature than this. This person is immature. She is a girl and she is trying to get in your head. You need to be a woman and not fall for this. And I just feel like that was a little manipulative, maybe.
Yeah, I don't care for it. That's the perfect way to put it. And I just, once again, for the record, he literally had a boner. Like, why
Yeah.
is he denying
So-
everything?
That he says in the back and forth with her that he says that, look, like I did everything to make you trust me. And I remember, I mean, did he do everything to make Shaylin trust him? I feel like that maybe like, I mean, he basically says like, there's no reason whatsoever to even think that she can't trust him.
And like, if he's done everything, what does this girl Bree have to gain from just like completely blowing stuff out? Like Shay is being a rational human, being like, okay, well, where did these comments come from? Like, it had to have come from somewhere. And even if it was a, you know, like if she misconstrued like how the feeling felt, like she felt like they could have kissed and that wasn't actually the case, the way that Daniel was so dismissive about it and didn't ever try to address it and explain, it was like, no, that didn't happen. There, like, this woman is, or this girl is crazy and making things up.
Oh my God.
Like,
Well,
okay.
and like the other thing too is like Shaylin is phrasing it as, I don't want to be the reason you didn't explore something you really wanted to explore. Like, if you need to explore other things, I think that that's important. I don't want to ever hold you back. And he is just like, nope, no more reassurance. I can't do anything else for you. And I feel like if you really care about someone and they need reassurance because they have anxiety, or maybe they have some issues with their attachment style, or maybe a woman just said, you need to have a conversation with your man. I think that by being like, well, I can't do anything else for you is a massive red flag that actually they have done something wrong. Because someone who has never done anything wrong will never tire of reassuring the person that they did nothing wrong.
Jenny, would you like to see this sort of like morph into like a Cheaters style TV show where like Tony
Absolutely.
Greco type
You
could
don't
come
even
out
have
and
to
say,
go
like,
further.
Shaylin, we have some footage.
Yes.
If you'd like to see it, we do have footage of Daniel
See,
on his date.
They made it
Bree.
up the mountain. So they had a very lovely hike, and here they are at the peak. He, as you can see, you can obviously see, he goes in for the hug. And I don't know if you can hear this. We don't have subtitles on this raw footage here, Shaylin, but actually Bree now says at this moment, "You're poking me."
Yes, and there's a little like spring-loaded sound that happens.
A boing, if you will.
A boy.
And that was not added by production. That was actually a natural sound. This is raw footage, of course, as you know.
Yes.
Our camera crew, raw footage.
As you know, it makes that sound.
I just would like to say, if anyone's equipment makes that sound, they should seek Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, get him on the line.
Mhm.
What does it mean when you get an erection and it makes a boing noise? Is that normal? Is that something I should look into?
I think you should see Dr. Mike.
I think you need to see Dr. Mike. That's not normal. You might actually have a spring inside of you. Did you put it up there?
Oh no!
Did you
my
put
God.
a spring up
Oh
there?
my God!
I mean,
feel
I'm
like
sure
Mike
Dr. Mike has
had
seen
that.
that.
He's seen it all.
No, I
He's
feel
seen
like
it all.
he's seen that. Like literally that specific thing.
Mhm.
Someone
You don't
has
want to know
tried
what
it.
he's seen. Yeah, let's get out of this.
I
Let's get out of
guarantee you, if we were making a list of things that Dr. Mike has seen, it would take less time to make the list of things he hasn't seen.
Yeah. So Daniel and Shaylin, they have this one like serious talk, but they kind of get over it.
Yeah. It kind of did just
Yeah.
get resolved.
I
But
feel
in
like
a weird
Shaylin
way.
internalized it a little bit and was like, oh wow, am I not being mentally
blowing
strong
this,
enough?
yeah.
And I was like, you're in danger, girl. Like, run.
And I hated this because Daniel did this thing that drives me absolutely bonkers that people do. It's like the most hurtful thing is when someone like criticizes or like suggests that you are not something that you hold very high, like, and like they say that you're like not a kind person, and you're like, kindness is one of the few things that I feel like I truly have. And I just feel like he knows that Shaylin is very like proud of what a strong woman she is, and that this is a very, very key value of hers. And he knows that by saying and suggesting that her actions are not aligning with this identity of being a strong woman, that is going to hurt. And like it's the smallest little thing where you think like on paper it doesn't mean a lot. Oh my God, that hurts. Like that hurts a lot. So I did not love that, because it's like, that that's going to get to her. To suggest it's not to say like, oh, like you're being mean, you're being rude, you're being jealous. It was like, you are not being mentally strong. And that is something that you hold very dear to you. Oh, that drove me nuts.
I would be in jail, literally. if I could have gotten to Daniel in that moment, my future would not be bright.
Listen, Daniel, like if you and Shaylin are still rocking and you're in the Toronto area and we cross paths, I just want to talk. I just want to chat about it. I just want to know if you've learned anything from this, because I was rooting for you.
But like, here's the thing. I tweeted out today. Now I know I did not hear this man just say that he can't provide reassurance. She has to be more mentally strong. And you replied that it made you very upset.
Yes.
Shaylin is liking those tweets.
I know.
She wasn't tagging them, but she's liking those tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is liking those tweets. I don't know what that means. Up. But yeah,
I think she knows that she wasn't treated right while on the show.
Yeah,
maybe
I think. I mean, she saw the boing. Like at this point, if they didn't hash this out after filming, she knows now.
Yeah, she knows everything.
Yeah,
she's got the receipts.
Mm-hmm.
How's Real Love Boat Twitter doing?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I see a David Bloomberg tweet from 8 hours ago.
I
think it's you and David Bloomberg out there.
I only have one tweet. When I went to do the tweet, it did not autofill the hashtag. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah,
I did see a tweet, like Kendra tweeted about her extensions during the olive oil challenge, that like near the end her like extensions were just like falling out of her hair, and she's like, why didn't anyone tell me? Like not a fun challenge for hair. But
for extensions in particular, I feel like that is how you remove your
that's how you remove them. That is but that's like one tweet. I don't know what else is happening.
It's just Kirsten and David Bloomberg out here.
And Jerry occasionally does.
Mr. Jerry O.C.
Rebecca Romijn. Oh no, that's from October.
That was 2 months ago.
Never mind.
How long have we been here?
I love when you look up a hashtag and it's just like no results for this hashtag. I know I used it today.
Well, you know what's bad when the hashtag doesn't have a little graphic.
Yeah, and it used to. It definitely had.
Okay, I thought it did too.
For the
they lost their graphic. They lost their emoji.
Yeah, they go to Paramount Plus and they're like, sorry, you can't have an emoji anymore.
No more budget for a Twitter emoji. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
That's sad. That's truly
sad.
You do hate to see that.
Let's talk about this week's competition. All right, we're here in Sicily and we're going to get everybody together. All right. And so come on out we're going to go and come to the Olive Grove, and we see where Jerry and Rebecca are set up. And of course, we get some announcements. Okay. First off, no new singles. This is it. This is our final cast for The Real Love Boat.
Which, yeah, I would hope so. Like the singles that they brought in recently are like barely holding on at this point. Like, so, you're just doing people dirty if you're bringing like on new singles. Like no one is, you broke up the one relationship that was not made to last in the first place. And that's it. What would, like, when you've been told that there's like 2 ports left or something, why would you bring new people on?
Okay, well, just announcing it.
I know, but like, wouldn't you be like, if you were on this show and then like, that it's ending in like 2 days, and like they're like, no more new singles, I'd be like, yeah, of course not. You better not be bringing any new people on. What is this show?
Well, there
But
was
also-
a cheer.
Imagine if they'd been like, okay, 14 new singles are coming tomorrow, and we will see what relationship survives the night as going into
And
the
you
finale.
are going to have
Yeah.
a battle royale. It's going to be the Royal Rumble of
Ooh.
relationships.
Yes.
Mhm.
I would love to. I would love that.
So
Actually, that'd be really fun.
yeah, Jerry says everybody is paired up, and then he says, to borrow from Jordan, he says that your significant other is your G.
That's
Yeah,
right.
because Jordan called Kendra his G. That's my G.
Mm-hmm.
G stands for girlfriend.
Yeah.
G stands for girlfriend.
Or girl.
I thought it was
girl.
like nothing but a G thing.
Like gangsta.
I don't
Yeah.
actually. I actually don't know. I just thought that it was funny to say.
I
stood
think
for
maybe it's
girlfriend.
dual purpose.
Yeah.
Dual purposes.
He has
like,
multiple meanings.
Kendra is a G, and she's also my G.
I thought she would be his GF.
Drop the F.
Oh, that's some boomer shit, Rob.
That's boomer G. It's just we dropped the F.
Yeah.
New era.
This the new era.
Drop the F, keep
Drop
the
the
G.
F, keep the G.
Drop the F, keep the G. I didn't have
Yeah.
any idea. Okay, well, thank you, Real Love Boat. And that's not just a Canadian thing.
I
It
don't
could
think
be.
so.
He is
I
super
don't know.
Canadian.
Yeah.
He is, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know if Phil has ever referred to me as his G. I'll have to ask him
Mhm.
after this.
Should I text Phil right now and be like, how's your
Find it.
G doing?
Yeah.
hmm Yeah.
Let's see what he says.
Let me see what Nicole says. Okay. Or is she my W?
Yeah, does she call you her H?
Mm, no.
No.
Does Nicole call you hubby?
And I don't think it's ever been said.
What
Okay.
about Hubby Dubby?
Hubby Dubby, definitely not.
Dubby. The Dubby.
No.
The Dubby is the wife, obviously.
Dubs.
Hubby
Mhm.
and Dubby.
Dubby,
Oh yeah.
Dubby,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could just be like, oh yeah, me and the Dubs this weekend were
No,
I
it
think
has not
so-
been said yet.
Well, I would pay money to hear Nicole call you hubby.
Okay.
I would
mean, we
pay
can ask
money for
but-
her to never say that word.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, how could she satisfy us both, Jenny?
Listen, we're gonna have to find a way.
Mhm.
It's
It's like
impossible.
we're Mike and Emily and Shaylin and Daniel, and we're coming at this at different angles, and we want the same result.
So we're gonna have a competition. The top 2 winners are going to have to get together and pick which of the bottom 3 to save. Okay, so that's what they want to do. Get together 1 kilogram of olives. Now I know what you're wondering. Not you two. You know how much a kilogram is.
half the cast at this point is Canadian. They
Yeah.
know what a kilogram is.
They know. I will say, I feel like in general, like you wouldn't buy olives by the kilo in Canada. Like I feel
No.
like a lot of stuff is in pounds at the grocery
Mhm.
store. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like in Canada it's like constantly a mix of like both systems.
It's like,
like
what will you measure with?
yeah.
I don't know, and you won't either until the time comes.
Like for me, honestly, it's like I wouldn't be able to tell what 1 kilogram is because I don't know what anything is. I like if you said, oh, like if so Rebecca says, oh, I'm sure you're wondering what's a kilogram. Okay, well, it's approximately 2.2 pounds. I'd be like, still don't know what that is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not a helpful metric.
I don't know.
What do you use, Jenny, as a comparison for like the weights of things?
I have no concept of what things weigh. I actually don't. Like I think that maybe I think of like what my cat weighs.
Yeah.
And then I think like how many scarlets is this?
Yes. What about like as far as like food goes, like
Okay.
like a pound of turkey, like
I've
was that something-
never I've never understood this. Like so if you get like a steak or like like a burger somewhere and they're like, oh, it's like a quarter pound, like
That would be an ounce. Don't they normally do that in ounces?
they do steaks in ounces, but then sometimes like sometimes like a burger at a place.
Well, yeah,
is
because like
a half
McDonald's
pound
has
of beef.
the
It's
quarter
like with a
pounder,
quarter
Big
pound
burger.
cheese.
and then
Yeah.
they tried to have the 3rd pounder burger, but people thought a 1/3 was less than a quarter, so they didn't want it. But it's
What?
actually more because they don't understand fractions.
They think 3 is less than 4.
because they
my
think
God.
because yeah.
Listen, I am bad at math and just generally not a very smart person, and I even can do that much, but I still like I can't look at a piece of meat and be like, oh yeah, that looks about a quarter pound. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I have
Yeah.
no concept of if that's a lot of meat or not a lot of meat.
I
Yeah.
trust
Really
if
not
you're
that
telling
much.
me
Yeah.
if you're telling me that this is what it is, who am I to say? You know, like
How
okay,
much
that's
things
what that
weigh
is.
are between that object and God?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So
None of my business.
you have to collect a kilogram of olives. Okay.
2.2
And
pounds approximately.
And you have
Yes.
a little bowl to collect the olives with.
yes, go collect them, and then go to this fountain of olive oil, and then rub it all over your body, and
Yep.
then go and then fill a tiny bottle with your olive oil.
This is very like Big Brother food challenge, right? Like when they have to squeeze all the liquid
Mm-hmm.
off of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like they've done something similar on Survivor too. Have they?
Yeah, they do
done
with mud on Survivor,
Yeah,
right?
so we're mixing together like a couple different challenges from the shows
That's what
that
they
we have
do.
done this before with like mud on Survivor,
Mhm.
and then there's other challenges on Survivor where we get people get all oiled up
Right.
Oh, and then like slide down
and
a
they
thing.
slide.
I slide.
Yeah,
There's no sliding
Yeah, Jeremy
going on that
Collins
I'm
would
aware
be
of.
really good at this challenge.
there was no sliding.
Yeah, like this is the thing. So what I loved about this challenge, we get Rebecca and Jerry with
Yeah.
their table. It was almost identical to the challenge that they had in I already forget where it was. In the lavender fields where they get
Soap?
into the bathtub and
Yeah.
then they have to rub the
Mhm.
soap on each other. It
Yeah.
was like the same concept. And I loved that at both competitions there's just a table that Jerry and Rebecca sit at and watch these people rub themselves up and like and then they have like a buffet in front of them.
Yeah.
Yes,
It
what were
was
they
so
eating?
funny. They had like cheese.
Quarter
It was
pounders.
great. They probably had
Mhm.
olives. Honestly,
Yeah, well,
like,
Jerry was eating olives and was like, "Oh, these olives are so fresh."
I feel
Mhm.
like a fresh olive off
It's
of
not
a
what
tree
you
would be
want.
too hard.
I feel
Like I want it like soaked in brine and
Yeah.
like softened
brine
Oh.
it
a
up,
little bit.
baby.
Mhm.
I literally
That's
was
my
looking
bee.
for olives in my refrigerator to eat during the podcast.
Oh,
because
it
I
made
was
you
like,
hungry.
yeah, I love olives, and I would
love
eat
olives.
a jar of olives as dinner if I.
Would
We've
you
talked
rather?
about it on this
have.
podcast
Yes.
before. 30 or 40 olives. It's great for dinner.
It's a great
Mhm.
dinner.
Mhm.
The only olives I have in my house are pre-sliced olives. So I
Yeah,
was like, I
same.
can't
We have-
really be bringing those into the podcast.
No, I have the sliced Kalamata olives. I was like, this isn't even the olives they were picking. They were green. It's like,
Yeah, I've sliced
so I
green.
couldn't do it. I
Mhm.
settled for the extra virgin olive oil that I'm drinking. By
How's
the way.
that going down? Is
Ah,
it
smooth.
good?
It's
Yeah.
dripping right down.
You're
the throat.
glowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm greased
Remarkable.
from
She
within.
looked like a chicken cutlet.
Yes. 2 chicken wings. Right.
That's what I've always wanted.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we collected the olives, whatever, and then we got people all oiled up, and this was like bizarre. And then I grabbed the music cue from this segment of the show. Did either of you think this music was just a little odd for the real Love Boat? Here's the music.
Rob, all of it was odd.
The montage.
And then we were like in like slow motion, like
I feel like this is one of the songs where they do like the challenge on Big Brother where they sing and you have to guess what challenge the song is about.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like,
Those
and
could be
you're
any
rubbing
lyric.
olive oil.
Olive challenge. Yeah.
No, it was so weird. They were really trying to convince us that this was sexy. and I was
No.
disgusted.
No,
it
it
was not
wasn't.
sexy. I'm sorry. It was like the concept of like an oiled up person can be sexy. We've seen people look sexy that way before. This one, it was like they were just so drenched in it that it was like it was no good.
Well, and they're also like not like this is a slow motion montage. Nothing about anything that was happening was slow or graceful. Like they're slipping up, they're racing around, they're like dipping their whole head into a vat of olive oil.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and why were they leaning backwards into it? How is that the most effective way to get your hair into the olive oil? I was like, why is he doing a full backward bend? Is his spine okay? Like,
well, I
He's a
think that you
show-off.
would want to do it because I think if you did a front, went front ways, then
on
your
your
hair would
face.
be filled with olive oil. You couldn't see, and you would need to flip it back. I feel like maybe you would lose oil in the flip.
in this one, it would hurt his neck, his back. He's got oil in his crack, you know?
Oh no.
My neck, my back got
Olive oil in my crack.
My neck,
Yeah.
my back got some oil up in my crack. Okay, sorry. Sorry, you can't give me that and expect me to
I just can't
not go
believe
for it.
that I had to say it first.
I'm trying not to be like the most offensive.
I never felt this way before.
It's a real song.
Something that you can't ignore.
I cannot ignore being coated in oil.
This is what we're waiting for. Now you got me screaming more.
More oil, more.
Did you
more
hear like
oil.
there's like olive oil like sound effects of like
I think that was just actually what it sounded like, Rob.
No,
that was the raw sound of them.
They love sound effects on this show.
Yeah, they really do.
Go back to the the Daniel and Bree date.
No, the
CBS
post-production
will
is
spend
a thing.
money on sound effects.
They love it. They love it.
Like
The
half
budget
of
is
the,
huge.
half of the audio is post-production. Like half of the
Except when they put
commercials-
the sound in the show.
Yeah, sometimes
of
they take
course.
sound out of the show so that they can have more sound effects.
Yeah. All right. So Daniel and Shaylin, they use their hair. It works great. They're able to get a ton of oil and then able to win the challenge. So another win for Daniel and Shaylin. And then did they come in with Emily and Mike? Were they first place?
Emily and Mike were first.
Emily and Mike
yes.
were first place, and then Daniel and Shaylin. They came in second.
They all did the hair method too, because like
Mhm.
Mike pulled down the ponytail and got right up in there. And then it made me wonder because Kendra and Jordan were the first to the oil station. They were the ones that finished the olive picking first. And then they completely blew this lead.
Yeah.
And it made me wonder, like, were they at a disadvantage because Jordan has short hair? And like very, very short hair. He was not able to utilize any sort of hair method.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. This is why Mike and Emily had the biggest advantage. Both of them, very long hair, lots to soak up. I don't know. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like how can you beat yourself up at this point if you're Jordan and you're like, well, if only I had more hair.
Longer hair. Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, all right. So now they basically are gonna spend the rest of the episode deliberating who should go home. They tell them, all right, couples, go hose off.
And like, what do? You just hose off with water? Isn't that's the thing? Oil and water?
I think you literally would need to use the Dawn dish soap that they use like for the baby ducks when there's an oil spill.
Yeah.
I think that you would need it.
They could have done another slow motion montage of them rubbing soap all over their bodies. They could have brought back the bars of soap and then done that.
Yeah.
This would be the top song on Rob's Spotify Wrapped next year.
Yes. So, yeah, incredible. we are going to see some deliberations now that go on and on and on. And this is really like with bringing challenge vibes to all this. Do you think that anybody from the Real Love Boat will be invited to participate in the Challenge CBS season 2?
No, I don't.
She really thought about it for a second. Yeah, because technically, I mean, we did get shoved off to Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
But so did Love Island.
Well, Love Island got shoved off to Peacock, and no one from the Peacock season was invited.
Oh, they had. Yeah,
it was only from the first 3 seasons.
The Peacock season hadn't happened yet, right?
That is true.
Another excellent point.
I have a feeling that people from the Peacock season of Love Island will not be invited, unless they could maybe be on like the challenge proper, because they'll take anyone.
So you think that you need to be on
CBS proper?
Now,
which I think
people were on CBS.
Yeah. So I think that like people that were on the first 3 episodes could be eligible.
I could see Daniel or Shaylin on the challenge. Like they were clearly very competitive people. I think that they have it in them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazier things have happened.
Maybe we'll bring in like people from Tough as Nails, or like people that have been on like The Price is Right and stuff like that. Maybe we'll open it up to other shows.
The Challenge CBS B team is like, Rob, that would be made for us. Like this is like no one should watch this.
But I also, is there going to be another Challenge CBS? I thought that it was like a one and done.
I don't know. I think it's going to really depend on maybe like how Tough as Nails does in. I mean, I think that CBS reality. I know they have Tough as Nails season 4. I think they actually have a Tough as Nails season 5 in the can. But like, I think that other than Survivor, Big Brother, I think they're probably doing like an Amazing Race like during the spring and the fall. I still feel like that they need something else for the summer schedule.
When they push Love Island to Peacock, but Tough as Nails is getting a season 5 and 6. Like,
well, they were.
I'm just in crisis.
Like Avatar, I think they've already been filmed. There's nothing they can do about them.
I don't know. I've heard that streaming services can cancel shows before a season airs that's already filmed.
Oh, true.
We've seen it happen this week.
But you have to think that, like, you know, don't they want Joseph like on the challenge? Like, doesn't he seem like someone that, like, you know,
Big Brother Joseph?
Yeah.
But they can also just put him on the regular. Like, people from Big Brother were making it onto the regular challenge before.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool to see the mingling of the shows.
Yes.
Because you know they're all talking and hanging out anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the mingling of the couples as they try to go through the deliberations. Jenny, did we see the 3 couples that are on the outs all talk about why they're worried they're going to go? Anything interesting come up in the deliberations?
Not really. Mostly just that, like, Dylan and Sydney feel very like they feel like they deserve to be there.
They're very entitled.
Yeah, they're very entitled, and then they have this like feeling of like integrity of the game, and you like want to beat the best.
We have
the
best connection.
Yeah, like we met 3 days ago, and
you
like
just
won
got
a
here.
champagne.
We barely know you.
Pouring contest. Like,
have you even met Ezra?
Well, but I think what you are neglecting to talk about is how solid of a couple they are. That everyone should be threatened by.
Yeah, you haven't even heard about his favorite foods, have you?
Yeah,
they don't even remember the gaslighter Michael from episode 1.
Former gaslighter, okay.
No, the current gaslighter is Daniel.
Right.
He passed the baton.
Do you even know who Nicole is?
Yeah.
How could you win the show? Okay, get out of here.
Remember Dean?
Remember Brett? Dean? He's unwell.
Yeah.
Dylan really thought that like they like if they were going to be eliminated, that was like low.
Yeah.
It's like Or maybe they're just clearly going to protect the one couple that has been here the longest and
Like,
they're all friends with.
Where they
Like,
know the two people and like each other and want to hang out and
yeah.
like
Dylan's been here 5 minutes and is very entitled. He's like,
but he's
I
like,
deserve to
if
stay."
they get rid of us, it's because they're threatened by us. No other reason. There's no explanation for it other than that.
Definitely.
We don't really know how the show is going to wind down next week, but I did think that this would have been more interesting if both Daniel and Shaylin and Emily and Mike could have both saved a couple, because I feel like that while Emily and Mike would have saved Jordan and Kendra, I feel like that Daniel and Shaylin probably would have saved Marty and Susanna over the two people that just got there.
Yeah, but what does it add to the finale to have Marty and Susanna there also?
I mean, the possibility of there being drama.
I do think that Daniel could have been, because I don't think Shaylin ever wants to get rid of Kendra. That is her girl.
Yes.
And I do think that while Daniel would have a lot of influence on that decision, I think the clear point that Jordan and Kendra are bad at challenges would still probably be enough to keep
I'm
them.
saying in a universe where, and they didn't do bingo balls, but say Mike and Emily went first and Mike and Emily protected Jordan and Kendra. They were already safe.
They're already safe. Okay.
Already safe. I think that Daniel and Shaylin would have protected Marty and Susanna over the two random people.
Yeah, I really think that Dylan and Sydney did not have a shot here. But I also,
because everyone's jealous of them and their connection.
Well, it's like they go through rankings and it's like, okay, so if we're ranking couples based on like, you know, competition threat, then it's this. And if we're ranking couples on like their connection, it's like this, and this. Like they weren't on the bottom of either of those lists. So it's like they're not like they're you know, they're fulfilling two different pieces here. So what is the upside of keeping them? They barely know these people. Like,
yeah, it's just no one's thinking about them. I think would have been the only way for them to stay, is if it's like, oh, we forgot you were here. I guess you can stay. So, I didn't see you there.
So we're gonna go to one more ceremony, sail away ceremony, and we're gonna basically find,
you know, it's real
back in the club, and everybody's gonna get to give some final statements.
Yeah. It was very, like, again, this is the exact same concept as a couple weeks ago when Nathan and Tyler got sent home over Jordan and Kendra. Yeah, this is literally identical episode basically, except for Daniel and Shaylin had to make the decision with another couple and they get rid of two couples.
Okay.
Yeah, this episode was less exciting somehow.
So, all right, yada yada yada. They save Jordan and Kendra. And so we see Dylan is like really like indignant and pissed.
He
about
said
the
he
whole
was
thing.
pissed. Like he was so mad. I was like, "Sir, who are you?"
Yeah.
If this had been season 4 of Too Hot to Handle, he would have said, "Nice guys finish last," because that keeps coming up on Too Hot to Handle.
No, I haven't gone that far yet.
Said by two different men.
My favorite sentiment. Love that.
Yeah, it's super healthy.
So they're gone, and then Marty and Susanna, they're out also. Marty just, you know, wishes he would have gotten the chance to know Susanna better. You know, Marty he never gets to know anybody.
Or himself.
Yeah.
Even. That's what he needs to do.
It's almost like Marty
a little better.
projects onto people and
he
thinks he knows them.
He did say that he would, if they got eliminated, that he's going down to Florida to visit Susanna and see this connection. Do you think he made that trip?
No.
I mean, I think there's a chance
Susanna
Marty
gave
went.
her his number.
There's a chance Marty went to Florida
I didn't get anything out of this.
I don't
We got a
think
couple
she's-
episodes on Paramount Plus.
Yes.
See you later.
Kirsten, but were you disappointed that we didn't get like an Emily, like forget you, go home, goodbye?
I think she already said all she needs to say
She won the
last
breakup.
week. Like she
Yeah.
was like, I feel like a weight has been lifted. My life is better. I'm having
He's
fun.
clingy.
Like she is living well, and that is the best revenge.
Yes, best
It
revenge.
is.
Okay.
It truly is. And like she's unbothered, and she, like I said, you can see it in her body language. She's like, see you never, like wish you well, but not
Mhm.
anywhere in my vicinity. Goodbye.
Okay.
So like, there's no love lost there. But like I thought it was so funny because Daniel kept calling Susanna. It's like he hasn't spent enough time around this person to know how her name is pronounced.
I mean, is
Like,
anybody
there's-
named
Susanna?
Susanna? I don't know.
Susanna.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm sure maybe like people pronounce it that way, but like when every single other person has pronounced it Susanna, it's like he's like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, him and Susanna. It's like you don't even know who this person is. You're not keeping them around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Jerry calls them the Sexy Six. They dance, and we get a preview for the final episode of The Real Love Boat Season 1 on Paramount Plus.
Yes.
And so maybe series finale of The Real Love Boat coming up next week. Now, I will say the trailer for the finale did seem like that there is a lot going on. It seems like that there are going to be many different aspects of the finale. Kirsten, were you able to make out at all about what the finale will entail?
So all I was able to really glean is that there's definitely going to be 3 challenges.
Mhm.
And then I don't know, like do you win part 1 and you go straight to part 3? Is it like Big Brother Final HOH, or do you get like
Mhm.
points for how you
So,
win them?
I believe there was a clip of Rebecca like at the very end where like all 3 couples are standing on the boat, and she said we tabulated your scores. So I
Oh.
believe that there is a scoring system
Okay.
for each challenge. There's 3 challenges,
Multiple
and
parts. Yeah.
multiple parts. Looks like at least one of them is like a newlywed game type
Mhm.
situation, like a quiz thing. Like, what did they say?
Yeah.
Oh man,
and
we
then-
were robbed on Dylan
And Sydney.
and Sydney in a newlywed game.
No, they were so in tune, Kirsten. They've
Well,
probably known each other their entire lives.
Imagine if they got every question right and they met 2 days ago. Like that's also iconic.
hmm
Like, good for you. Like, that's excellent. I'm very happy for you.
Okay, so they're tabulating the scores,
Yeah.
and I guess high score. You hate to see it all come down to competitions.
Yeah.
Yes. I hope that the competitions have some sort of, because they always tease, they're like, oh, well, like there's going to be a challenge, but like it's really going to test your communication. And it's like, no, it's just always going to be the couple that's just good at shit. Like that's just how it is. It's going to be Daniel and Shaylin. They're very good at stuff. Like that's just what it is. But I would love if there was actually components to these 3 final challenges that actually drew upon how well they know each other, or how well they connect, or whatever. And it's not just like, oh, like, did you get through a maze fast enough? Oh, but it tested your communication skills. It's like,
What if somebody was blindfolded?
but that's
I'm just
Same
hoping
thing.
that they have been studying their days while
Yes.
they've been on the cruise.
Yes. Do you think there'll be a quiz about like, okay, who came in on this day?
yeah.
I think that there could be questions about like, well, what order the ports were and what happened at each place.
Yeah, but there are
at the end.
people that weren't there the whole time. I guess not in this final group. Well, Mike doesn't know anything.
Mike hasn't even been there that long.
Emily will carry. It's fine.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think that. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm trying to figure out, because so there are 3 final challenges. Like I said, there's one that definitely looks like it's like a newlywed game.
Mhm.
Then there was like a clip of like Paulo was like at a big captain's table and was like, "Are
Yeah.
you willing to move?" And it's like a big so like, does he interview them?
Yeah.
Like, does
Remember,
he have
Paolo
he's
like a,
just-
asking tough
decides.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah?
Paolo just decides if you're close enough and then gives you points according to his own system.
Can you
Mhm.
imagine if that was like a component of it? It was like, how did you charm Paolo?
The ship's
Like,
captain.
yeah,
The captain's
he's been
table.
driving the boat the whole time, baby.
Yep. And
That's
then
why you need those captain's table dinners.
Yeah. so
And
there's
then
gonna be
the
a
third
lot of different aspects.
The third thing looks like there's like, I mean, I don't think it's a talent show, but like there's like a thing where they're like on stage with like an audience. And like
I
they're
hope it's a talent
speaking-
show.
I would love it to be a talent show.
What were these people's talents in the first
Okay, so
place?
remember
Okay.
Shaylin did the basketball.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Daniel's talent, I do not
Kendra was not there.
recall.
Kendra was
Kendra
not
Mike was
wasn't
not
yet.
there.
Jordan.
Emily. I don't know what Emily did.
Yeah.
Like,
Mike.
I only
No,
remember
no.
Brett and his beautiful song.
I hope
I
that
hope he'll
when
be
they're
back
on,
for the finale.
Oh, I hope
hope-
so.
I hope that when they're on stage, it's just the roast of Marty.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. Do you think that the shoved off people will have any sort of impact, or are
They'll
they just
vote
like
for the winner?
literally
Yeah.
like, do they have any, or is there going to be like, I guess you guys were saying like, okay, well, is there like a quiz like on what day did, like, imagine
Mhm.
just having to name the people that came. I can't even remember the names of some of these people that were revolving door. Like,
Imagine if all of the shoved off people are now a jury and they each get to ask one question.
I would love that.
Do we know so there is a prize? Do we know what the cash prize is?
I think it was 100,000, wasn't it?
No,
100,000.
they have no.
I
Really?
feel like it was.
I'm
but
gonna check my notes because I
maybe
definitely would have
made
written
that
it
up.
down. And I feel like that's.
Oh wait, no, the prize was a cruise.
The prize is a cruise?
Yeah, they were gonna win a cash prize and a cruise.
Oh.
Because I remember being like, they're on a cruise and they're gonna win
Mhm.
a cruise.
You don't get off the boat is the prize. You live here now.
Yeah. With only one couple making it to the final port, they will get a cash prize. But I don't know
Yeah,
if we
I
know.
was gonna say I thought there was money.
There definitely
Hmm.
is a cash prize, but
It-
I can't remember.
So
if we were-
according to
10K
this,
maybe?
yeah. Oh, actually, no. I'm looking at the Real Love Boat Australia,
Oh,
which, interestingly,
Oh wait, 50K.
50K.
you want to
In
hear
my
something
I
wild?
said 50K.
Yeah.
So on the Real Love Boat, I'm looking at the Real Love Boat. Is this Real Love Boat UK?
I think Australia is the only other one that's happened.
Captain Paolo is the captain on that one too,
Wow.
but not Ezra and not Matt.
Paolo's a real captain.
Yeah. Do you think they were on the same boat? Do you think they were filming at the exact
They
same time, but
absolutely could have been.
with a different bartender? They had to have like an
Yeah.
Australian bartender and cruise director.
Well, and it
then
makes
Paolo is
sense
still like six.
why Paolo only had like a couple of seconds per episode.
He's
He's
busy.
running between like multiple seasons
two-timing.
of the Real Love Boat at once.
And he's
Yeah.
driving the boat, man.
Mhm.
I don't know what you do. Like, what is it? Like
I don't-
driving a
I mean,
big
I think that
luxury yacht.
Like you definitely, there's stuff that he has to do to be in charge
You
of
got press
it.
buttons and stuff, right?
For
Mhm.
Like, I
sure,
don't
at
know.
least buttons.
There's
Okay.
definitely buttons.
How many deep dives are we doing after the season?
Oh man.
I think we could get at least 2.
Mhm.
I
I
would love to talk to all the Canadians.
I think
Are-
we
are
could
we-
get Shaylin for sure, and Dylan
Yeah.
is here.
Are we
Yeah.
hosting the official
Reunion.
Real Love Boat reunion?
Yes.
I would love
Yes,
to.
please.
I would
Yes.
love nothing.
We'll
but
put
like
the
some
offer
very
out there.
hard
Show up.
questions to
Like,
some
I
of
think
these people.
I think
Ezra?
yeah, like
Yeah.
let's invite them all. Let's do a whole panel.
Hell
Mhm.
How
yeah.
many people can we fit in a StreamYard, Rob?
Well, we
Oh,
could do a
12?
Zoom call.
Yeah,
and
10.
we
We
could
could do
have
Zoom.
so many.
Oh, let's do
Mhm.
it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And maybe we'll get like Emily, Marty, has there been any reconciliation
Have you
since
sent
the
any
season?
texts?
Yeah.
Did anyone wish each other happy Thanksgiving? Nothing like
Mhm.
that? No? Okay.
Yeah.
I did get a response from Phil T about his G.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the
He
word?
said, "Who now?" And I said, "Your G." And he said, "Is this a test?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh God, I have test anxiety."
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks.
The Urban Dictionary still says G means mate in English, although but I think that they're saying like friend, like that. G, a
Well,
gangster. That's real G.
Yeah.
Real G.
Short for gangster.
I feel like Kendra's like she's got that in her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she's got gangster in her. She would take you out.
In this episode, when she said, "If
Oh.
I have to hear another woman say how funny you are, like
Yeah.
it's over," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, she might literally murder someone."
Yeah.
Yes. He
Although
will take you out.
here's another entry from the Urban Dictionary from July 2018.
Okay.
G, what you may call your girl. Used in a sentence. Me, hey G, my girl. What?
Hey G, my girl. Like that's all one sentence.
No,
No,
you say,
hey-
"Hey,
hey,
G," and then
G.
the girl
Oh,
says,
and then my
"What?"
girl says,
She says
okay,
what?
gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
but that's from 2018. So I don't know if that maybe it's not even, you don't even say that anymore.
Yeah, it's
I
already.
think that we do. I think is what we've learned from the Real
Yeah.
Love Boat. The one takeaway.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I can't wait until next week to find out who won
I
the Real
believe
Love
you,
Boat.
Rob. I
Yeah.
fully believe you.
I
Be on
believe
pins
that
and
Rob
needles.
can't wait
Yeah.
for this.
Mhm.
You're like,
to be
forget
over.
who wins Survivor. I need to
Yeah,
know
that's
how the
the-
Real Love Boat.
Put it on the
And-
back burner.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the Real Love Boat's the only reality show making it into that last week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess second
Last one
week
standing,
in December.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been interesting had it still aired all the way through, if, it was on Wednesday nights, if they would have, do you think they would have like preempted Survivor and told Survivor, no, you can't do a 3-hour finale?
Yeah.
I think they would have said, "Sorry, Survivor, you're not on tonight. Real Love
Yes.
Boat's on."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get 45 minutes to do
Yeah.
the finale, and then we're going right into the Love Boat.
I
Baby.
do think it would be interesting on Survivor that I know they've always done it this way, where if Survivor gives you 2 hours and we get like down to like the final 3, and then they do like their 3rd hour like a week later, and then spent like a longer time like talking to the I think they could squeeze another week out of Survivor. Like it would be like, okay,
They absolutely could.
you could get to the final 3 and then have like a week of talking about like, oh, what do you think's going to happen in the final 3?
I honestly feel like I
even-
blinked and it was over. Like they could
Mhm.
totally
Yeah.
be squeezing more out of it.
I mean, even if they got to final 4, so you don't know who's going to be in the final 3, then they would still be able to really make a meal of it the next
Mhm.
week.
Listen,
But they don't want to.
Real Love Boat was able to create this episode where we basically just are waiting for the finale at this point,
Mm-hmm.
then anything is possible.
I don't understand, Jenny. It seems like you are being negative about this episode of The Real Love Boat.
Yeah, you're being a real Marty right now. I have to be honest. Yeah.
Loved it. Okay.
Kirsten
It
and I
was-
are fun-loving, goofy people, and
Yeah.
you're being so serious.
Jenny's, that's what I'm
Sorry.
always saying with Jenny, is she's being too serious all the
Yeah,
time.
that is classic criticism of me. See, you guys are doing what Daniel did to Shaylin. You're like, okay, one thing Jenny is, she's always here to have a good time. She's not taking it too seriously. I am going to get under her skin by saying she's not fun, not having a good time.
Mhm.
I see what you're doing.
Well,
okay?
I think, Jenny, maybe if you tried having fun, you would like it.
We just want to
Who's
have a good
gonna be-
time, okay?
Who's gonna be my knight in shining armor that can show me who I can truly be
Mhm.
and loosen up, because I've been so like I've just been really uptight through this whole podcasting journey. No jokes, it's serious business over here, and I just need someone who can show me how fun I could truly be on a podcast.
I'm
And
just
clearly it's
sorry-
not happening here.
I'm just sorry that me and Rob couldn't be those people for you, Jenny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry too.
I'm surprised nothing should get you looser than a glass of olive oil.
Yeah, I'm lubed up to hell and back. Like Like I feel like an organ will just fall out of me at this point at
This
any
is
given
out.
moment.
It's curtains. We can't do this anymore. This is why they don't sell olive oil at the club.
This is the
Mhm.
only way I'm trying to become a born again virgin, is like I'm filling myself with extra virgin.
I think, Jenny, you just have to say that you're a born again virgin.
I'm
and
born
You're like,
again.
boom, you're a virgin. And
You're
it's
back.
good.
You're back. Okay. All right, Kirsten, what's coming up for you these days?
Obviously, Real Love Boat finale next
Sure.
week. It's going to be great. Too Hot to Handle season 4 is in full steam. We're doing a
Whoa.
crossover with Mess Magnets
Yeah.
this week. Myself, Sasha, and Tori, and possibly another special guest who I will not say to commit them on the podcast because I'm nice to them, unlike Priya and Scally. I think that's actually all right now. Just mess magnets, Too Hot to Handle, Real Love Boat, living large.
So it's a good lineup.
Yeah,
All right.
it's great.
Jenny, how about for you?
Just waiting, to see Shaylin and Daniel probably win the Real Love Boat, because I think that's what we're all expecting in this.
I would think they have the winner edit, right?
They definitely have the winner edit. They've got the story. They are clearly, they have the strength as a couple and also very competitive.
The only thing is that this one bump in the road is a pretty big one. I think there's a possibility for Emily and Mike.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I'd say it's
narratively,
80%
I would
Daniel and Shaylin. Yeah.
I would take issue with that, but so I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Obviously, like, Survivor is basically over, but just was on the B&B this past week. It was very, very fun with my partner Phil and Liana and Puya. It was a great time. And just gonna slide into the new year and see what riches the reality TV world brings us next. So I mean, every time I turn around, there's like a new show being tweeted about that I am certain has to be fake, right? Like, it's not real. So you never know where I might pop up in your podcast feed next.
I do love that now I also get tagged, and like, this show is absolute garbage. I would love to hear Jenny and Kirsten talk about it. And I'm like,
you've been in the proximity of the garbage feeding raccoon that I am, and now you are forced to engage in.
I'm right there with you. I too am a raccoon, so it's all good. I will watch the garbage.
That's about it. Follow me on social media at Jenny Autumn.
I thought you were gonna say social meds.
I almost
like,
social
what?
Meds.
Schmeeds.
The meds.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll be back next week for the finale of The Real Love Boat. Of course, we'll have all of our Survivor finale coverage as well. If you were just like, if you can't wait for Real Love Boat, have to watch some finale on TV, there's a Survivor finale on also. Also, going back to the original Wednesday night lineup, we had a really fun deep dive with Derek X and Claire from The Amazing Race last night. So that was a really, really fun podcast with the two of them, who are super fun. So check that out as well if you missed it. And until next time, we will be back to talk about the winner of the Real Love Boat next week. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.